Hello and welcome to another of my help desk software and technical support videos, and in this time we will be talking about handling difficult customer situations. This video is going to focus on some of those leading causes of stress that we see in customer support, such as handling upset, angry, and demanding customers, as well as calming irate customers and being able to say no to customers while maintaining their overall goodwill. So here are those objectives laid out. The power of a positive attitude. Why customers sometimes behave in challenging ways. Proven techniques to handle those irate, difficult, and can sometimes seem very demanding customers. Next, we'll talk about how to respond, not just react to those difficult customers. As difficult as that is, it is a very important technique to develop. And then lastly, we'll talk about positive steps for which we can use to stay calm and in control in dealing with those type of customers. Let's take a look at the specific first aspect right now, the power of a positive attitude. It is inevitable in the service industry that we are bound to have bad days. But the fact is that most of the time, customers who contact service desks are reasonable, they're pleasant, and they're extremely grateful for the help that we as analysts can provide. Unfortunately, there are those times where customer situations can be more challenging, and those customers can become upset, they can become angry, and they can become very demanding. Not only on the customer, but on us as analysts, these difficult situations can be extremely stressful. And these difficult situations can affect our attitudes and even our interactions with our customers. Remember that you must maintain their perspective at all times and avoid that temptation to make some sweeping statements such as, "Why is everyone being so difficult today?" Instead, draw back and, as an analyst, try to consider and treat each customer and each situation as a unique experience. Now, you cannot control your customer's behavior, but you can control your individual responses to their behaviors. Yes, you can develop those skills that are needed to handle even the most difficult customers and situations that you're going to face in the future. Maintaining that positive attitude can power a situation past being a difficult situation into a positive situation. So make sure to keep that in mind. And as I said, treat each an individual case just like that. Don't let whatever happened in the previous call or previous situation roll over into the new one. Now let's take a look at why customers sometimes behave in challenging ways. So we need to understand customer behavior. We must strive to empathize with what our customers that are contacting us are currently experiencing. Therefore, you must understand and show empathy. And empathy really just involves identifying with and also understanding another person's situations, their feelings, and their motives. Now, being empathetic does not mean you are responsible. It is, however, you as an analyst, your responsibility to acknowledge the fact that the customer is upset and then try to do everything you can do in your scope to be able to help them. Also try to understand, especially in today's world, that the frustration that your customer is experiencing in dealing with a technical problem may be compounded when they try to obtain some type of technical support to resolve their situation. If you've ever been on a call or used a phone system to try to get help, you know what I'm talking about. You might go through 5, 6, 7 different prompts before you ever reach some type of individual to help you or even some type of source. You even experience this online. So a customer may have gone through a lot that adds on to their already existing technical problem, and this will compound and create that behavior. And unfortunately, they're going to take it out on you. So this may be a problem that the company or even your department that you work in is responsible for because they've created that that tanglement that has caused the customer to become even more irate. Just know it's not personal, and you're there to try to help things, smooth them over and provide a positive experience for that customer and give them that resolution they need. And that's where having that empathy really comes into play. Try to put yourself in their situation, or maybe you have, and go in your mind and remember how you felt so that you can make that customer feel better. Now, I'll briefly talk about some of those situations that may frustrate or anger customers who are trying to get that technical support from you. So try to consider how they felt when facing these similar situations. As I said, you might have felt these before as well. Some of these might be like broken promises, or those confusing telephone menus I just talked about, or even some user instructions or online help they tried to use might have compounded with their problem and they're taking it out on you. Maybe they have some looming deadlines that they are trying to meet, and your assistance is what's between their problem and meeting those deadlines. So try to be their savior and not add on to their problems, and don't take it personally. Maybe there are some unmet expectations that they're trying to reach. Maybe the product or service that they received that they're calling about was very poor. Maybe they've already dealt with some rude analysts. There are lots of different situations that can add on to that frustration or enhance that frustration of the customer. There's always something you can do. Even just providing that instance of showing empathy can do wonders. Make sure that you give your customers the benefit of the doubt. They may simply just be having a bad day. Now, be honest and don't blame customers for your lack of patience or your negative attitude. Maybe you're the one having a bad day, but know that you're there for customer service. So always, always, always strive to be positive and professional at all times, regardless of all situations. Treat each situation uniquely. So yes, customers can be very difficult. So let's look at some of those proven techniques that we can use to handle those irate, difficult, and very demanding customers. At the core of it all, you must have patience and you must have composure. How you respond to difficult customers, particularly during the early moments of your conversation, that first impression stage, how you respond to that will greatly influence the customer's perception and willingness to work with you. Now, you can make a difficult situation worse by failing to listen to them, not using those active listening skills, if you fail to empathize with the customer's situation, or if you fail to communicate with positive statements to the customer. So make sure to use these simple techniques. Get focused. That's number one. Get focused on handling the situation. Provide some time and let the customer simply vent about the situation. As I said, listen actively. The fourth thing is to acknowledge the customer's emotional state. Not in a bad way, in a positive way. Show that empathy. Restate the situation and gain agreement from the customer. That way they know you're actively listening and you are committed to their situation. If at any point, ask for clarification when you do not understand, when you have restated the problem or verified the statement. If there's something you need clarification on, ask. I'm sorry, but I'm confused. Could you please repeat blah, blah, blah? Probably leave out the blah, blah, blah part. And then lastly, begin active problem solving now that you have done those first 5 steps. If you went through all those first 5 steps, number 1 was get focused. Number 2, let the customer vent. Number 3, listen actively. Number 4, acknowledge the customer's emotional state. And number 5, restate the situation and gain agreement. If you've completed all 5, mostly your customer should have calmed down at this point. Now you can begin diagnosing the incident and developing some sort of action plan for resolution. Remember to always stay focused. If necessary, in your situation, repeat some or all of the steps that I mentioned to start handling that difficult situation. If you need to calm an irate customer, customers just know that they typically are just frustrated or confused. They don't start out irate, they just become that way. In most cases, anger can be avoided. Use those techniques I just talked about for handling difficult situations. You might even have to, in a properly handled situation, have to place a customer on hold and or transfer customers. Just make sure you handle it properly. Just make sure that you understand how to engage help, such as transferring a call, or putting them on hold. Make sure you understand how to engage help if it's needed, and be aware of your company's policies on how they dictate how to handle difficult situations. There are some statements you can use, and you will become more proficient at this as you get more experience, but there are some statements you can use to help calm your customer and gain their confidence, such as just simply acknowledging the customer's frustration. State that you will simply do all that you can to help them, that you're there for them, using some type of statement such as, "I'm sorry to keep you waiting. How may I help you today? How can I help?" Simple things like that go a long way with calming the customer. Now, if you fail to acknowledge the customer's emotion, they may sometimes become angry. The skills for empathy are so monumental in handling difficult customers. I can't stress it enough. As I said, know how to respond. Don't just react. Don't start lashing back out at the customer when you're working with these difficult situations. Use techniques to calm the customer and to make them know that you are there for them, to help them, and you want to help make their day better. Always remembering a situation that you might have been in will go a long way, so that you can have that empathy for the customer and keep them from getting irate, or bringing them down from an irate status to a calm manner. To keep yourself in control and be prepared for those difficult situations, as I said, learn to respond, don't react. Learn to stay calm under pressure. And you may think you have that ability now, but once you get into those phone situations, you will learn it's a whole new ballgame in training yourself to stay calm under that type of pressure. And then get ready for your next contact. Take a deep breath if needed be. Take a moment, look away, and then gain your composure. Get back into it. Hey, this is a new situation, a unique situation, a different individual. It's going to be a different experience. And then you'll be ready for your next contact. Reacting is very easy. It's simple just to have a reaction to what someone says. Responding in a professional, calm manner involves making a conscious choice to control your behavior, because that's all you can control is your behavior. So as a professional, remember, it is your responsibility to act in a very positive, constructive way, regardless of how that individual is behaving towards you. You stay and remain professional. Try to think rationally about the customer's needs and respond calmly to that need. That's what you're there to do. By calming them and solving the problem, you are going to completely change that customer's behavior. Whether they let you know it or they show it, that doesn't matter. When you have solved their problem, when you have helped take away that difficult situation from them, they will attitude change. Even if it's not until the next call. Whatever the case may be, you have helped their day. Now, we all experience stress and pressure differently. Learning to stay calm under different types of pressure requires that you as an individual learn to control your behavior. Now, if you become upset or angry, neither you or your customer is going to be able to bring the situation under control or solve the problem that they are experiencing. So learn the symptoms that you experience whenever you are getting upset or angry in life, such as your jaw starts to clench, or you start to lose concentration on the situation. You start grinding your teeth, maybe your head starts to hurt, maybe you start feeling a little sick. Whatever the case be, make sure you can identify those symptoms when you're getting angry so that you can make sure to handle that situation more calmly. Make sure to take those positive steps to stay calm and remain control. Knowing those little ticks or signs are going to go a long way with you keeping calm. Some of those calming techniques to keep your focus are things such as I mentioned earlier. Take a deep breath. Perhaps just taking the time to take a sip of water. That just allows your body and time and your mind some time to calm itself. Maybe perhaps use some positive imagery, or if you are this type of person, use some positive self-talk. If you take a deep breath, it's going to help lessen your tension and help you resume a normal breathing rate. When I mentioned taking a sip of water, this can help lubricate your throat and restore your voice to its normal pitch. Using positive imagery can influence your thinking in a more positive way, such as envisioning yourself standing next to your customer that's having this problem and looking at the incident with them, since it's very hard to get that personal connection over the phone or even over online help. So if you can maybe imagine that self, it might be more rewarding to you because you would put yourself in that position that you were there actually giving them that help they need to help calm them. And then use positive self-talk to do things to eliminate those negative thoughts and attitudes by using positive words such as, okay, I know what to do, or I believe I have a handle on the situation and can help solve this problem you're currently experiencing. Or if it's intrinsic to you, saying things like, I know what to do is going to build yourself up. I've got this. I can do this. Those type positive self-talk phrases can help you, and then using the outward positive phrases can help the customer along with your own self-confidence. Because no matter what the situation, customers in all realms respond more positively to analysts who are calm, confident, and in control, rather than analysts that are the complete opposite of that. So you want to be that calm, confident, and in control analyst for each and every one of your customers. No matter what I say, no matter what training you do, some difficult situations are simply going to be more draining than others. And you have to find that ability to recover from a difficult situation so that you can compose yourself before handling your next contact. Give yourself the opportunity to let your positive can-do attitude shine through so that that customer knows that you are the analyst they need to help resolve their situation. If that situation is extremely difficult and you need to recover from that, inform your team leader or your supervisor that you might need a second. Take a short break if possible. As crazy as it may sound, avoid caffeine or other stimulants. You need to avoid that to calm yourself down and get ready. And then maybe employ some type of stress coping mechanism. Maybe it's breathing, maybe it's a fidget spinner, maybe it's a little stress ball, whatever the case may be. Just calm yourself and get ready for that next customer experience so that it will be a positive customer experience. Even the most dissatisfied customers will generally continue doing business with a company if their problems and complaints are handled consistently, quickly, and cheerfully. The customer experience from us as analysts can go a long way with keeping our customers coming back. That is all for this video on handling difficult customer situations. I hope you found the information helpful and that you can take some of this into the field or into your continued studies and become a better service desk professionals for your customers, but mainly for you and your organization. Thank you for following along. Have a great day, everyone.